po and where you're from.
So, I'm Joyce Marian po from Isabela.
Okay, you're from Isabela. Ang layo din po ano? Ako din, one of my province ay yung sa Cagayan. Cagayan, Isabela, dun din po. Now, just a short interview with you. Ano po yung ine-expect yung matutunan here from our discussion for today?
So, as someone who's in line with um, technology, I think magkakaroon ako ng more insights and knowledge about this industry.
Okay. And saan niyo po siya ia-apply, if ever? Sa work po
I
ba or
mean,
sa
I
studies?
do
Yung
sa
natutunan niyo
studies
po ngayon,
po
sa
kasi
studies?
still
Oh,
studying.
okay. You're currently studying. Okay, there we go. So maraming salamat, ma'am. Si ma'am din, naku, napakamahinhin naman ng boses ng ating mga babae today. Very different from mine na maingay. Okay. So thank you, ma'am. Thank you for that. And yes po, Sir Troy, ang saya po talaga natin kasi bawal po tayong malungkot kundi mamamatay ang energy ng webinar. Okay. So now I am sure you are already excited. Okay. So now I'm going to introduce our speaker for today. So she is currently working as an instructor too in the College of Information Technology and Computer Science in the University of the Cordilleras. Her previous work included Information System Analyst 1 in DICT, and she was also a Software Development Associate at Accenture Philippines. She was also a Training Specialist 1 at DICT. Okay, give it up, everyone. Let us give a warm virtual applause to Miss Brett Harleen M. Molsho.
And so good evening to everyone po. So hello once again, my name is Brett Sardin Molcho. You can just call me Ma'am Bretts po. So for our webinar for today, let me just share my screen. Okay. Ayun. So, let me see. Ayun. Okay po. So, nakikita niyo na po ba yung screen ko po?
Yes, ma'am. Nakita na po.
Ayun. Okay, so once again, our topic for today is Introduction to SCI, or what is better known as Explainable Artificial Intelligence. Okay, so we'll be trying to demystify the AI models for transparency and trust, since yun yung main goal ng explainable AI model. So welcome again, everyone. I'm thrilled to have you here as we explore experiential AI. So this topic may sound technical, but don't worry because we will be keeping it simple and relatable. So by the end, hopefully you will be able to grasp or at least have some understanding of what explainable AI is. So let me just.
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, yung
Yes.
camera po ninyo. Thank you po.
Ay, sorry, hindi kasi working yung camera. May problem yung camera nung aking laptop. So, hindi siya nagdi-display. Is that okay po?
Okay po, ma'am. Noted po on this. Thank you po.
Okay. Thank you. Ayun, so, okay. So as I was saying, today we will be understanding what explainable AI is. So what we're going to cover today is what explainable AI is. So why does it matter? What are some common methods that are used in explainable AI? And then we also have some real world applications and of course challenges. And then we'll try to have an interactive discussion or demonstration if we can, if available yung website. Right? So what exactly is explainable AI? So when we say explainable AI, then explainable AI or SAI, as we call it, helps bridge the gap between complex AI models and human understanding. So imagine that you are relying on artificial intelligence for some of your critical or important decisions. Like example is healthcare. When you make decisions using AI, when it comes to healthcare, it's a little complicated. No, kasi when you are in healthcare, you are dealing with people's lives, with their well-being. Okay, so we need to at least be able to trust what AI is giving us before we use it for decision making, which is purpose of now your explainable AI. So if you don't know why the artificial intelligence made that recommendation, made that decision, you will probably not trust it. Kasi yun na nga, the number one thing is that it is AI. Okay, it's only artificial intelligence. So how will it be able to understand or why did it come up with that decision? So yun yung aim ng explainable AI. Okay, so explainable AI aims to explain that reasoning behind the decisions that it is giving us, depending on what we are trying to accomplish. So it's about creating artificial intelligence systems whose decisions can be understood and, of course, trusted by humans. So traditionally, artificial intelligence systems like deep learning models are often black boxes, meaning we can see the input and the output. However, we do not actually see the decision-making process. Paano niya nakuha yung ganong decision? 'Di ba? So, nakita natin ano yung in-input natin. Say, for example, um, when we are trying to decide about healthcare, no? Usually sa doctors, pag sinabi ng doctor, eto yung gamot na iti-take mo, that is because the input that was given to the doctor is yung symptoms mo. So, what were the symptoms that you were currently having? Basing on that input, the doctors will have the output, which is yung reseta na ibibigay nila sa inyo. Okay, so the prescription of the medicine that you're going to take. Let's try to digitalize that specific scenario. Now, instead of a doctor, you will be giving the input or you will be giving your symptoms to an artificial intelligence system. And then that artificial intelligence system will be giving you the output, which is the prescription. The problem with artificial intelligence, how are you going to trust the prescription from the artificial intelligence? Paano kayo magkakaroon ng trust na tama yung binibigay sa inyo na gamot? What if I have the similar symptoms with another um, disease, with another complication or something like that? Okay, so how are we going to trust that? So with explainable AI, it's trying to show us how it came up with that decision. Bakit yun yung binigay niya sa'yo na prescription? Bakit yun yung binigay sa'yo na gamot nung artificial intelligence na yun? Okay, so explainable AI will try to give us the explanation on that so that we can trust that decision from the artificial intelligence. Okay, so so far, are we able to grasp what explainable AI actually is? Or do you have questions? Meron po ba? Or wala naman? Okay, so if there are no questions, I think I can proceed with the next slide. So I'm now going to show you the importance of explainable AI. So why is it important for us to have explainable AI? So number one, you can see their trust and accountability. Okay, of course, we have regulatory compliance and then fairness and bias mitigation. So for trust and accountability, of course, our users need to trust the AI's decisions. especially in high-stakes situations, as I mentioned, kagaya ng healthcare and of course finance. Especially because when it comes to finances, you can lose a lot of money if the decision is wrong. Kaya we need to be able to trust why that artificial intelligence have come up with that decision. Then, of course, you have regulatory compliance. So some industries require transparency, such as banking or healthcare, again, because of the high stakes situations that are um, being dealt with when it comes to banking, finances, and healthcare. And then lastly, of course, we have fairness and bias mitigation. So explainable AI helps ensure that these artificial intelligence systems are not making biased decisions. So explainable AI is critical or very important because it provides the transparency that we need for trust and accountability. So in fields like finance or healthcare, understanding how artificial intelligence made a decision is not just nice. Actually, it's very necessary. It is very important for compliance with the regulations as well, and to, of course, avoid harmful biases. Kasi we are dealing with, once again, finances and the well-being of the people that are depending on that artificial intelligence. So next, we have techniques in explainable AI. So for the techniques in explainable AI, we have interpretable models, and we also have post hoc methods. So for interpretable models, it's more simple. We have here simpler models like decision trees or linear regression. So these are the techniques that are used when it comes to interpretable models. And then for your post hoc methods, these are techniques that are applied after the model has already been trained. So examples of these ones could be LIME, SHAP or SHAP, and Salient Synapse. So explainable AI methods can be grouped into these two main approaches. So basically um, for interpretable models, these are models that are inherently easy to understand, like yung mga decision trees natin and linear regressions. And then the second one is your post hoc methods. So these methods are applied to black box models like yung deep learning, to make them more understandable. So as I mentioned, we have Line and Chat as examples for this one. So far, do you have questions pala or clarifications before we move to the next slide? Wala namang questions. Okay. May susundan naman po ba? Okay. So let's move on to the next slide. Okay. So let's now take a closer look at these two common post-hoc methods, which is LIME and SHAP. So what does LIME exactly stand for? So LIME stands for Local Interpretable Model Agnostic Explanations. So yun yung LIME, tinatawag natin again. It's Local Interpretable Model Agnostic Explanations. Kaya siya tinawag na LIME. Ayun, tama ako. And then we also have SHAP or SHAP, which is the Shapley additive explanations. So, for Lime, excuse me, for Lime, it explains individual predictions by approximating the complex model with an interpretable one. While your SHAP or SHAP, this method assigns a value to each feature to show its contribution to the model's decision. So, if you would like to explore more about Line and SHAP, I think I will be sharing the website na lang or the links for this ones later. Or, yeah, I'll just share them later na lang. Mm. So going back, all right. So we're currently taking a look at line. So siguro just bigyan lang ako ng ano, what call this one? I'd just like to elaborate more on what line and shack are. So ano ba kasi si line? So si line kasi, yan. So line is, as I mentioned, a technique that is designed to explain the predictions of any machine learning model. So tinawag siya na model agnostic because it works regardless of the type of model, whether it is a simple linear regression or a complex neural network. Okay, so it will still work doon. So paano ba gumagana si Lime? Okay, or how does Lime work? So imagine you're trying to understand why your favorite restaurant serves a particular dish on a specific day. Kunyari, bakit shrimp lang palagi yung siniserve ng restaurant na every Fridays or every Saturdays. So instead of analyzing the entire restaurant's operations, what you're going to do is you're just gonna focus on that one dish. Yung, let's say, ano bang dish ng shrimp? Let's say the buttered garlic na shrimp. Right? Kunyari, yun yung dish that you would like to understand kung bakit every Fridays yun yung dinidisplay or yun yung menu nung favorite mo na restaurant. Okay, so instead of analyzing the entire restaurant's operations, focus lang tayo dun sa shrimp. So you're going to ask the chef simple questions like, is it because of the fresh ingredients today? Yun ba yung fresh na ingredients ngayon? Or was it a popular choice last week? Kaya palaging yun yung naka-display every Fridays kasi last Friday or last week Friday, yun yung popular na choice. Okay, so yung line, ganun din yung ginagawa niya. So it does the same thing with the machine learning models. Instead of trying to understand the whole complex model, which can be like trying to read someone's mind, no? Kasi ganun siya ka-complicated. Line focuses on one prediction time. So parang um it makes it a little simpler rather than trying to read someone's mind. So line focuses on one prediction only at a time. So it creates a simpler and more understandable model that can mimic the behavior of the complex model. Pero dun lang sa single prediction na yun. So the technical process for Lime is first pick a prediction. So Lime takes one specific prediction that you want to explain. Bakit every Friday si shrimp yung yung nasa menu ng restaurant na yun, something like that. So you only focus on that specific prediction. And then second is it tries to perturb the data. So it tries to slightly tweak the input data. So siguro changing one ingredient in a recipe, no? Hindi mo papalitan the whole recipe. Try mo lang palitan. What if dagdagan ko ng konting salt? What if dagdagan ko ng konting sugar? What if I add in an oyster sauce? Mga ganun. To see how that changes or how that affects the prediction. So, and the third one is Lime tries to build a simple model based on how that prediction changes, no, after niyang mag-tweak dun sa input data natin. Lime creates a simple model, like a linear model, to explain which features or which of those ingredients were most important doon sa ginawa natin na tweaking of the shrimp dish. Okay? And then, lastly, it generates now the explanation. So Lime highlights which features contributed the most to that single decision. So nung pinalitan ko yung ingredients doon sa butter garlic na shrimp, pinalitan ko dinagdagan ko siya ng oyster sauce. Ano yung nangyari? Was it an important decision? Naging mas masarap ba yung dish? Or did it ruin the dish as a whole. Okay. So another example for this one could be if you have an AI model predicting whether someone will be approved of a loan, for example. Diba? So, minsan hindi natin alam paano na approve or na de-decline ang applications sa loan, for example. So, if you try to use an AI model for predicting whether someone will be approved for that loan, Lime could probably show that income, number one, and credit score has the biggest influence. Okay? While the factors like yung age mo or the zip code does not, or at least matters less dun sa pagka-approve sa'yo ng loan na yun. Walang kaso kung you're just 18 years old or if you're 30 or 40 siguro, unless that is included in their guidelines dun sa kung saan kayo nag-loan. But basically, it has a lesser weight when it comes to deciding if your application for the loan will be approved or declined. But it matters more yung income ninyo, kung mataas ba yung income mo or mataas nga yung income mo pero mababa naman yung credit score mo. So basically, pag naglo-loan ka, hindi mo agad na babayaran. Mga ganun. So your credit score, doon nakadepende kasi yun. So if in your artificial intelligence model, that's what you're trying to do, no, approve or predict if someone is going to be approved for a loan, okay? Lime will now analyze that and show na mas mabigat yung effect ng income mo at yung credit score mo if ma-approve ka dun sa loan or not. So it presents this influences in an easy to understand bar graph. So it will just show you the positive and the negative impacts. So ganun yung line natin. However, for your SHAP or your SHAP, okay, yung ating Shapley additive explanations, for this one, SHAP or Shapley additive explanations is again another technique that also explains model predictions. But for this one, it's based on game theory. So sa game theory naman siya nakabase. So specifically, something called Shapley values, which is from economics. It helps figure out how much each of these features, like yung income, yung age, or education, contributed to a specific prediction. So how does Shapley additive explanations work? Think of SHAP like this. Imagine that you have a team of friends that are working together to win a game. So gusto nilang manalo dun sa game, whether it's basketball or let's say volleyball na ganun. Now, after winning, they want to divide the prize fairly. Okay, so let's assume naglaro sila ng basketball against another group of friends. And then there is, let's say, a prize afterwards. So they would like to divide the prize fairly. But how are they going to decide who contributed the most to the victory? Kasi let's say there are 5 na naglalaro ng basketball. So, ayaw nilang i-divide yung prize divided by 5 kasi siguro yung isa hindi naman masyadong umaagaw ng bola or hindi naman siya masyadong nag-3 points or nagpaka-score. Taga-agaw lang siya ng bola or something like that. So they want to decide based on their contributions dun sa pagkapanalo nila. Dun nila i-base yung pag-divide nila ng prizes. So, how do they decide? Contributed the most to the victory. So they could first think about or use this as guidelines. Sino ba yung who scored the most points? And then they could probably decide by who played the best defense or who made critical passes. And mga ganun. Okay, so Shapley additive explanations or SHAP does the same thing with machine learning models. So it treats the model's prediction as the prize and the input features like yung income, yung age, yung credit score as the players. So depending on how the income contributed dun sa ating approval of the loan, gaano ba siya nakakapag-apekto doon? That is what SHAP does. Okay, so SAP figures out how much each of these features contributed to that prediction. So it's fairly distributing the credit among them. So ano ba yung technical processes ni SHAP? First, it does or it creates a baseline prediction. So first, SHAP calculates the model's average prediction. If no information is known, like predicting the outcome ng walang data. Okay, so magkakaroon siya ng parang pinakang baseline prediction. And then after that, it will add features one by one. Okay, and then it then adds features one at a time. So it measures how much that prediction changes. So what if dinagdag ko si income? What happens to the model after that? Gaano niya pinalitan yung prediction natin? How did it affect rather the prediction when we added income? How did it affect the prediction when I added in age, when I added in the credit score? Okay. And then third, it tries now to calculate the Shapley values. So SHAP repeats this process many times, ulit-ulit yun, considering all possible combinations to fairly assign a contribution score to each of these features. And then lastly, it will now generate an explanation. So the result is now going to be a clear breakdown of how much each of these features push the prediction up or down, right? How much it has pushed the prediction up or down. So going back to our example, which is the loan approval case. So in the loan approval case, SHAP might show that high income increase the approval score by, let's say, 0.3 siguro. While yung low credit score decreased it by negative 0.2. So this helps you see exactly how much each of this factor influenced the final decision. So what is the key difference between your line and your SHAP? When it comes to the aspect, let's say, of approach, line creates simpler or more, call this one, local models to explain the decisions. While SHAP, it's based on game theory, so it fairly distributes credit. And when it comes to the focus of line, it explains one prediction at a time, while yung SHAP natin, it explains both individual predictions and their global impact. For the complexity, line is faster, but less precise for complex models. While yung SHAP, it's more accurate, but of course, it's computationally intensive. So it's more on computations. And then next we have for their output style, Lime is simple bar charts showing feature importance. That is its output style, while SHAP is more on a detailed contribution scores with visualizations. So for the use cases of Lime, it's quick, it's easy to understand explanations. While SHAP is more on a deeper insights, especially in critical applications. So basically in summary of your line and your SHAP, line is like asking what influenced this one decision using the simple models that I had mentioned. And SHAP is like saying, let's fairly divide the credit among all the features based on their contributions, which provides both individual and of course global insight. So basically both of these models or both of these techniques are powerful tools that help make AI decisions more transparent, trustworthy, and of course easier to understand, especially when we are dealing with complex models. Again, so that's basically what line and chapters for our post hoc methods. Now moving on. Okay, so of course there are also challenges in explainable AI. So explainable AI is not without its challenges. For example, while deep learning models are powerful, their complexity makes them difficult to explain, okay, because they are a little bit more complex. Also, methods like LIME can be slow for large data sets, especially because it focuses or it works on one uh because it only works on one problem at a time, or one prediction rather at a time. And explainable AI itself can carry over biases from some of the underlying models. So when it comes to complexity and interpretability, then so the challenges for this one, for explainable AI is complexity and interpretability. So since highly accurate models like deep learning are complex and they are a little harder to explain. And then for scalability, methods like LIME can become computationally extensive for large data sets. And then for the bias, the potential for explainable AI methods to still reflect biases inherent in the original models. So, first, hindi tayo nawawalan din ng challenges when it comes to using artificial intelligence, specifically explainable AI. And so I think it's very evident naman that since we're still like starting with explainable AI, is we will always have or will always experience challenges with using explainable AI. I think lahat naman nata ng mga ginagamit natin ng mga devices or applications will always have its challenges. So I think this is already just how we deal with these challenges. Which one is next? Oh yeah. Okay, so next we have real world applications of explainable AI. So real world applications ng explainable AI natin, we have healthcare. We also have finance and of course autonomous vehicles. So for healthcare, it's more on explaining why a model predicts a certain diagnosis. And then for finance, it's showing why a loan was denied, as we have given the example a while ago. And then yung autonomous vehicles natin, which that justifies driving decisions that are made by AI. So in healthcare, doctors may rely on artificial intelligence to help diagnose diseases. Okay, but of course they need to understand the reasoning behind a certain prediction. So the same goes for the financial industry, where artificial intelligence decisions could impact someone's financial future, especially because, as I've mentioned, you're dealing um with money here. And then, of course, in autonomous vehicles, explanations are crucial for safety and legal reasons. So, mahirap na i mahirap na i-pass by natin yung ating legalities. So that's why when we are making artificial intelligence systems, or even for simple systems, we always have your anong tawag dito? The terms and conditions wherein our users will have to agree, because there are legal implications that the system has to deal with when you are using it. So ganun din yung ating artificial intelligence. So we need to be able to understand how it works so that we can also apply the legalities into the decisions that we make based on the decision or the output of artificial intelligence. So, for this one, for the so for explainable AI, it brings powerful tools to help us understand the artificial intelligence decisions. But as I mentioned, that it's not without challenges. So we mentioned the challenges that we have a while ago. So understanding these challenges is also, of course, key to improving how we design and use our explainable artificial systems or explainable artificial intelligence systems. Ano pa bang examples natin? For real-world applications. Mm, ano pa ba? For real-world examples natin, real-world applications, aside from healthcare, aside from finance, autonomous vehicles, meron ba kayong idea what else do you think gumagamit ng explainable AI? Can you share in the chat box? Mm. By explaining why our post is declining when we share them sa FB. When it comes to FB, I think it's not necessarily on explainable AI kasi there are what you call this one? We have moderators. May moderators kasi tayo sa Facebook. So for that one, mm, I don't think I don't think applicable dito si ano, sa explainable AI unless if it is intercepted by Meta themselves, siguro could be. But for the but for what do you call this one? For pages, meron kasing moderators. But if it is um pag gumagamit sila, like say for Meta kasi, they do have their AI for Meta already. They have implemented artificial intelligence in Meta. So I guess we can we can consider the explanation of why our posts are declined on FB group, yung automatic o yung auto pala. Yung automatic na ano na disapproval or denial ng ating posts in FB could possibly be one of the real world applications of explainable AI. So yes, psych can be applicable in explaining why our posts get declined when we share it in Facebook groups. Although, yun nga, as I mentioned, the actual systems that Facebook uses might not provide such transparency to the users. Okay? Kasi yun then we have content moderation. So Facebook uses artificial intelligence to automatically detect and moderate the posts that may violate their community standards. So yung mga hate speech, misinformation, yung mga spam, mga ganun. So their models in Facebook specifically analyzes the text, the images, videos, and even context to decide whether to approve, to flag, or to decline these contents. So it could probably help explain the decisions like yung ano ba yung sinasabi nila doon, your post was declined because it contained language, blah, 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 that's flagged or as potential offensive, or yung mga ganon, or that this image is similar to known content, or yung mga similar to known content that violates their community guidelines, yung mga ganon. So, that is possible. So, meron pa po ba ibang ano siguro examples of where explainable AI is applicable? Real world examples. Meron ba? Wala na. Wala. Ay, okay. Wala naman. So, ayun, basically, mention ko naman na for healthcare, for finance, for autonomous vehicles, ayun, especially for our self-driving cars, which rely on artificial intelligence to make real-time decisions. Like yung pag-brake niya, lane changes, and obstacle avoidance. I forgot, pero I think it's in the US, wherein they already have self-driving cars, or self-driving taxi, I think. The autonomous, oh yeah, Waymo, yun talaga. So meron na yung Waymo, the self-driving cars or autonomous vehicles that are, I think, available in the US. So they already have this ones, which makes self-driving na nagde-decide na sila for how they can um transfer or bring their customers or their client, their passengers from point A to point B. Ganun. So, questions so far? Are there some questions or wala naman? If walang questions, we don't have questions, I think we can probably move to the next. Oh, Q&A session. Sorry. Nice skip. Anyway. So let's try to go on to our demonstration. So we'll try to use Line for explanation. Let me share the link. Share ko yung link ng Line. If it's Line, Line. Line. Ito yung ano natin. So naman, so far yung questions, wala naman. Okay. So, wait lang po ah. I'm just gonna look for the link ng line natin. If I can find it. Sorry, lumalabas yung ano, yung documentation yung lumalabas kasi. Since we can use Google Colab. So, let me try if we can use. So, I think we can use Google Colab for this one. If it works. Mm. Yeah, I think we can probably use Google Colab na lang siguro. Let's try to use Google Colab for lines. So let me give you the link to Google Colab or you can search on your own. I'll share it dito sa chat. Ayun. So I have shared the link for Google Colab on your on the chat box. Try siguro natin. Try natin gawin yung line. Gamitin yung line for this. Ayan. Stop sharing this one. And share ko yung sa Google Colab. Sa Google Colab. Ayun. Okay. Let me just remove this one first. Then close the release notes. Okay, so for the rest, kindly open to yung Google Colab. Just name the file Sai. Mhm. So what we're going to do is we're going to add code here. And then we're going to type. We're going to install or set up our environment. So we're going to install Line and scikit-learn. So we will type this code right here. So we're going to install Line, scikit-learn. So just type this one. Okay, and then click natin yung play button for it to run. Okay, so you should see the same thing on your screens. So it should state that requirements already satisfied, so Lime is already installed, scikit-learn, matplotlib, and so on. Yeah. Okay. So after that, you're going to import necessary libraries that you need for this one. Lagay ko na lang din sa chat box. But basically, we're just gonna click on plus code dito sa baba, where we are going to type or we're going to paste yung ating code. So this code will now be running for us to be able to import the necessary libraries that we need for Line. Knowledge ba yung pagka-copy paste ko? Or, okay, so just copy paste nyo na lang po. Pinipaste ko naman po yung code dun sa ating chat box. Para hindi nyo na kailangan i-type one by one. Okay, and then, once again, click po natin or run natin yung code natin. Okay, so we should have a check mark before it. And then we are now going to try to load the iris dataset. Okay, so we're going to load the data and we're going to train a model. So, dagdag ulit tayo. We need to plus or add a different block of code. And then, paste na lang natin yung code natin dito. Then, once again, run natin siya. Okay, so we should see here our random forest classifier. Ayan. So, nasusundan po ba? Pa-comment naman po ako or pa-thumbs up na lang siguro if you are able to follow our demonstration, yung hands-on natin. Pa-thumbs up na lang po or siguro pa-comment sa chat box. If you are still there. Nasusundan pa po ba ninyo? Medyo tahimik ang ating error po sa last code. Bakit po may error sa last code? Baka po hindi po ninyo kasi niran muna yung pip install. Dapat po kasi mauna muna ito followed by our next step, yung sa pag-import natin ng line before we load our iris dataset. If may error po, try to delete the code. Delete nyo po muna siya. And then redo it. Let me check. Try to move the text down, yung model. Delete po yung block ng data load ay yung loading of the iris dataset. Try ko nga i-copy paste ulit dito. Ayun. Tapos ito po yung gamitin niyo. Ito po yung copy paste niyo, yung kakasend ko lang. Delete nyo muna yung ito. Delete nyo muna siya. Then, try nyo ulit siyang i-load. Okay. Okay. Alright. So, moving on po. Let's try to once again add here another block of code. Dito sa baba lang. We are now going to apply line. Okay, so we're going to apply line. Paste ko po ulit yung code sa chat box. Okay, so you can now see yung line natin. So here is our prediction probabilities. Okay, so 0 or 1. Then it should be our prediction probably is not 1. Okay, and then our feature value. Okay, so you can use this to scroll up or down and then left or right. Dito po. So we can now view and interpret the results. So let's take a quick look at this demonstration of line, and we have seen how a simple data set and model will show how line provides an explanation for an individual prediction. So there are three tools for explainable AI exploration. So some of these resources or yung mga documentations natin are here. So I will share it once again sa chat box po natin. Ito po. Ayan. So these are some of the free tools for explainable AI explorations. If you would like to read more about them. So we have the local interpretable model agnostic explanations, yung line natin. We have here the documentations, shop, nandito din. We also have the Google's What If tool. And then, of course, IBM AI Explainability 360. Yeah. So, I think na-share ko ba? Na-share ko din. For, wait, mas, nilagay ba natin? Okay. So, in our code, sorry, so this one, yung ating show in notebook function, it displays the explanation for the first data point. So it shows us how line breaks down the model's prediction, which is now the visualizations that you can see below. So na yun. Okay. Ayun, ito. So, as I've mentioned, line is pretty simple and very straightforward. So, ito na yung prediction natin. Nandito na kagad siya. So, for this one, right, try natin i-check bawat bawat part ng code natin. So, again, going back, when we try to set up our environment, okay, we installed now your line. Okay, so the command that we have done here at the first one, pwede nyo siyang lagyan ng text above para if you're going to check your Google Colab again later on, is masusundan ninyo kung anong ginagawa natin dito. So let's write here that this is for installing of necessary libraries. So pwede nyo we need to install the necessary libraries. Ayan. So ito na yun yung ating installation. And then, next. So basically, dito sa code natin na to, for the line scikit-learn, the line here, in this part of the code, installs the line library for explaining like model predictions. Yung scikit-learn natin na yan, that we are installing, it's more on providing machine learning algorithms like yung random forests along with the dataset na yung tinawag natin or that we used in this one, which is the iris dataset. So if you face permission issues, if you are using this one, you can probably just add the -- user at the end. Kung nagkaroon kayo ng problem, okay, share na lang. So, sorry, medyo hoarse yung boses. Ayan. Ito po. If you face permission issues, you can just add yung -- user at the end of your installation of the line. Lagyan nyo lang siya ng -- user at the end. Okay. And then for the importing of necessary libraries, lagyan lang natin siya dito ng text. This is for the importing of the important libraries, import necessary libraries. So this one is for when we import now our forest line, yung ating classifier. So let me add that here. Ayan. Kaya ko na lang din po. Tapos idagdag nyo lang po siya dun sa text niyo. Instead of code, we just add the text. Para meron tayong comments. I think meron naman patang recording. So they will be providing you siguro. I think. From CYLC. Hmm. Okay lang naman po. Tapos you can just try to follow through later na lang. And then maybe I can. Actually, naka-copy paste naman po dito sa chat box yung mga codes na nagamit. So, pwede niyo po siyang i-copy paste muna dun sa inyong notes if you would like. Yan. So, for explanation ng ating necessary libraries, yung in-install po natin dito na line tabular, it helps explain yung models that work with tabular data, like yung mga spreadsheets. And then for the load iris, yung load iris natin dyan, this is the simple data set that contains measurements of our iris flowers, commonly used for classification tasks. And then yung random forest classifiers here, this is the machine learning model that predicts the species of an iris flower based on the measurements. So yun lang yung purpose natin for this one. Bakit natin siya install? Because we're trying to make prediction using line. And then for the step 3 that we did, yung pag-load natin ng iris dataset, we simply load or parang nilagay lang natin or we just try to access the iris dataset. So we tried to load the iris dataset using the data equals load iris. So it contains yung ating data. that just contains features like yung mga petal length, yung iris na flower, petal width, mga ganun. Excuse me. And then the data that target. Yan, it represents the target class. So it could probably be the species of the flower, kung if it is setosa, versicolor, virginica, and so on. And then yung fit natin, it trains the random forest model to learn patterns in the data that we have. So if we try to have a real world analogy of that one, you can think of the model that you have created as a botanist that is learning how to identify the flowers based on their characteristics. So parang ganun siya. Okay, and then the next step that we did was to apply the LIME for model explanation. So now that we have trained the model, we are going to, or at least we used LIME to explain why the model made a specific prediction. So, sorry, hindi ko pala nalagay dito sa baba. Ito yung explainer natin. Lagyan lang natin siya ng text. Ayan. Tapos yung dito sa, after natin mag-import ng line, nag-load lang tayo ng ating dataset dito. Dito. So, wait lang. Yung una natin ginawa, dun sa data load iris natin, we tried to load our dataset. So, load iris dataset. And then, after natin siyang i-load, yun yung para sa data load iris. Dun sa explanation niya, ito yung text natin ilalagay. Yan. So, it explains why Line came up with that decision. Parang ganun. So, again, let's try to recap what we did for this part. We tried to install Line and scikit-learn. Okay, and then we loaded the data, which is the iris dataset, and trained a random forest model. And then after that, we tried to apply Line to explain the model's prediction, which now visualized which features influence the decision. So, kung titignan ninyo yung sa ating lower part here, and these are the prediction probabilities. And then, yung explanation nung more on calculation siya. Kasi, more on the calculation for the visualization. And the decision of our artificial intelligence system. Yun. So, I think that's basically it for our hands-on. I just need it a little shorter para mag-fit siya dun sa oras natin in case. So, to close so that this part of the explainable AI, ayan, if you would like to try and learn more about explainable AI, I have provided the links no, for our tools that are free to use. So you can just try and explore them during your free time. And then, yun lang pala. Do you have questions for explainable AI? Kasi we still have a few minutes. I would like to give you a bonus um na related din siya, artificial intelligence din siya. But it's on experiential artificial intelligence naman siya. So before we move to experiential AI, ito yung magiging next, experiential AI. So before we move to experiential AI, baka you have questions on explainable AI? Baka may questions kayo about explainable AI or SAI. You can just put them or you can send them in the chat box, I think. If you have questions for experiential experiment and explainable AI. Sorry. If you have questions regarding explainable AI, type na lang po sa ating chat box bago tayo mag-move sa experiential. AI. It's just a short introduction, and then you can just explore later on your own for our experiential AI. It's ano kasi it's very interesting and fun to try and use now our experiential AI. So papakita ko yun sa inyo mamaya. So do you have questions?
Hello Ma'am Brets, may mga
Yes po.
question po dito. From the
Sige
form,
po.
from the registration form po. So we have the first one. How can SAI be used to ensure fairness and transparency in hiring algorithms, especially in eliminating biases?
Ano po ulit? Okay.
Okay. Sige ma'am. Sige po. How about now ma'am? Clear na po ba ako?
Yes po.
Okay, there we go. So, how can SAI be used to ensure fairness and transparency in hiring algorithms, especially in eliminating biases?
Especially in eliminating biases po. Ano? Ay.
Apo.
Yun. Okay. So meron naman pala mas na chat po sa chat box. So your question po is how can SAI be used to ensure fairness and transparency in hiring? Ano po ba rin? Transparency in algorithms, especially in eliminating biases. Hiring po ba yun talaga? Okay. So in explainable AI, it actually plays a critical role in promoting fairness and transparency and accountability, which I believe I have mentioned a while ago, na yun yung pinakang main purpose ng explainable AI for users to be able to trust the decisions and then the outputs of artificial intelligence. So, in especially in artificial intelligence systems, no, because biases in algorithms can do lead to unfair decisions, especially in sensitive areas like ayun, hiring algorithms, okay, especially in hiring algorithms, landing, law enforcement, healthcare, mga ganun, kasama doon. So, explainable AI helps identify and understand and of course mitigate these biases. So, artificial, sorry, intelligence or SAI can be used to ensure fairness and transparency in hiring algorithms. So it's specifically sa hiring, tama ba? Like hiring for jobs, gano'n. Yun po ba yung question? Like hiring is in hiring for jobs?
Yes, wait, is a question from an HR.
Okay. Kaya pala. So if they are using artificial intelligence in their HR systems. So,
Yes.
okay. Okay. Because they do use that. So, basically for explainable AI, it explains how and why the artificial intelligence made its decision. So it can actually, artificial intelligence can learn bad habits from the data that it's trained on. So for example, if yung data, if the AI rather was trained on past hiring data that they have in the company, wherein most employees probably were men. Okay, so syempre it will be unfair. It would or it may unfairly prefer male candidates based on the past data that it had. So explainable AI can help by showing what the artificial intelligence is thinking, quote unquote, thinking when it picks that candidate. So it will highlight if it is giving unfair importance to things like gender or age or race. Kasi as I mentioned before, explainable AI will be showing the users why that artificial intelligence system came up with that decision. It will be showing bakit kaya piniprefer niya or pinipili niya dun sa hiring algorithm ang puro men. Siguro because there has been some past data na puro men palagi yung naka-hire dun sa what you call this one dun sa company na yun. So explainable AI will show what the artificial intelligence is, um, why the artificial intelligence came up with that decision. It can also be used to like explain as well to the applicant kung bakit siya na-reject, bakit ba siya na-hire. So for the explainable AI, if we have or if that company has an explainable AI, if will or their system will say, you were not selected kasi your experience does not match the job requirements or your skill in data analysis was rated lower, ganito ganyan. So that helps the company or teacher specifically why that specific applicant was denied or rejected or if hindi siya na-hire. Parang ganyan. So it's like if they have an artificial intelligence system, they should try to incorporate explainable AI into that system para magkaroon ng explanation or transparency kung bakit yun yung naging decision. Ayun po.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Last question po from the registration pa rin. So,
Sige
how do
po.
the principles of interpretability and transparency in explainable AI contribute to building trust in AI systems? Again po, how do the principles of interpretability and transparency in explainable AI contribute to building trust in AI systems?
Call it, how do the principles of
Yes
interpretability
po, how do the principles of interpretability and transparency in explainable AI contribute to building trust in AI systems?
how do the contribute okay. How do the principles of interpretability and transparency explainable AI contribute to building trust in AI systems? Okay. So for this one, uh, let's say you're driving self-driving car or you're riding self-driving na dapat ka magdadrive. So let's say you are riding in a self-driving car. So question could probably, would you feel safe? No, parang will you feel safe if you don't have an idea how it makes decisions? So, of course, hindi. So the same thing or the same goes for any artificial intelligence system. So we trust it more when we understand how it works. So that's where the interpretability, okay, that you have mentioned, okay, and transparency come in. So when we say kasi na interpretability, it means that you can easily understand how the artificial intelligence system makes its decisions. So if an AI approves a loan, just like yung example natin kanina, you explainable AI gives us kung bakit niya in-approve yung loan na yun. So let's say for example, going back dun sa example natin kanina na application of loan, you get approved because you have a good credit score, you have a stable income, wala kang utang, mga ganun. So this makes the decision clear and easy to understand. So in explainable AI, if it did that decision, binibigay niya rin yung explanation. Kaya siya explainable AI. And then, of course, it's also transparent kasi when let's say dun sa ano natin, sa healthcare. So pag nag-recommend yung artificial intelligence ng medical treatment, okay, ano ba yung data na ginamit ng artificial intelligence system para mag-come up ng ganung decision? So could probably state that based on the symptoms, the test results, kung nagpa-lab test yung patient, okay, kaya niya pinili yung specific treatment na yun. So wala na kasing black box kasi nga sa explainable AI, ina-explain niya na kung bakit niya ginawa yung decision na yun or bakit yun yung decision ng artificial intelligence natin. Kaya mas nagtatrust yung users natin dun sa decision ng artificial intelligence. Sine-explain niya kung bakit yun yung maging decision niya. Kaya siya explainable AI. Yan lang po.
Okay, thank you for that, ma'am. I hope po yung mga nagtanong po sa registration, naintindihan niyo po yung sagot po doon na ma'am at nagkaroon kayo ng clarification on your side. So maraming salamat, ma'am. We can now proceed po for your next topic.
Okay po. Ayun, so thank you very much. Ito po is just additional that I think many of you will find interesting din. Although it's just a gist, a short lang na discussion on experiential AI. So since it's somehow not entirely related, pero it's pretty interesting. So let me share ko muna ito. Ayun, kita na. Right. So for this one naman po, we have the second one, which is on experiential artificial intelligence. So for experiential AI, ayan, let's skip ko lang siya dito. So for experiential AI naman, it's artificial intelligence that learns from experience. So it gets smarter over time, and it feels like you are talking to a real person. So for experiential AI, it's all about learning from interactions. So the more you talk to it, the more it learns about your preferences or the way you talk to it. So parang you have a new friend, kumbaga. So think of it like you're making a new friend who remembers your favorite things and goes better at your conversations the more that you talk to them. So it's not just following instructions, okay? So it's also learning and adapting. So yun naman yung experiential AI. So paano ba nag-iba si regular AI at si experiential AI? So again, as I mentioned, si regular AI kasi, it follows strict rules like a robot, and experiential AI learns from each of the interaction. So for regular AI, it's like a calculator. You press buttons, it gives you the same answer every time. Pindot mo 1 plus 1, lalabas na sagot is 2. Every time that you do that. While for experiential AI, every time that you talk to it, it learns something new. Okay, so it remembers your preferences, and it also changes how it responds or replies to your message over time, the more that you say it. So again, the key features for experiential AI is it learns from you. So it remembers your choices from the past conversations. It adapts. So it changes its behavior based on your feedback. And the third one is it feels real or natural yung conversations. Yeah. So I'm not sure if you can hear the audio. Narinig po ba yung audio niya?
Wala po,
hindi?
ma'am.
Nag-share ba ako ng audio? Okay. I think I can share the sound pala. Exit ko siya. Ayan. Share ko. Stop and share ko na lang siya pero with audio. Ayan, share sound. Meron po ba?
Yes po, ma'am. Meron na po.
Okay.
It looks like you're doing your homework. Having trouble?
This statistics problem is so confusing.
Okay, would you like some help? This is basically a binomial distribution problem like we talked about last week. Does that ring a bell?
Okay, I'm finding the PX. Okay, This is so helpful.
Looks like we're going for a run again. You ready to beat that 9-minute mile you set last Friday, Mia? If we continue to push, I know you can reach your goal of 8.5.
I love the encouragement, but I think I want to keep it light today.
Absolutely. As long as we maintain this healthy habit, you'll keep making progress. Ready?
So that's basically like just long of what experiential AI is. So let me skip to the second video.
At Soul Machines, our mission is to humanize AI. Our pioneering experiential AI tech extends the world of generative AI, creating a more human-like experience with more accurate and relevant outcomes and engaging interactive experiences. And unlike other forms of AI, experiential AI enables our digital people to interact with you in the real world. We use cognitive modeling to teach AI how to think, processing data the way humans do by interacting, building experience and context with datasets rather than just mathematical probabilities. We use embodied cognition to teach AI how to interact. Experiential AI goes further than generative AI by mimicking the underlying human systems to take in stimuli, process it, and react. These two methodologies unite in our patented digital brain, made with multiple AI-driven layers of simulated human systems, such as sensory and motor. Soul Machines, digital people can see, hear, interact, create memories, and even empathize the same way as real humans. This powerful human-centered interface provides solutions across industries, reimagining what's achievable in efficiency, education, engagement, and empathy. Through Soul Machines, digital people and experiential AI, we are unlocking the future of human-focused AI, enabling dynamic interaction between the digital and physical worlds.
Okay, so this one is actually from that video was actually from Soul Machines. Okay, it's actually from Soul Machines. Yung video na yun. The next, okay, this one. So it's actually from Soul Machines. It's a website wherein you can have your very own AI assistants. Okay, it's maximizing experiential artificial intelligence in their subscriptions. So I can actually share the website to you guys through the comment or chat box so that you can try and explore it on your own in case na gusto nyo siya. So, ayan. So, nasend ko na po sa chat box yung link ng soulmachines.com. So, Soul Machines is, oops. Ito po siya. Ayan, pakita ko na lang yung site. Can show you na lang. Siya. Ayan. This is the website for, so this is the website for soulmachines.com. So they are using experiential AI for their personal AI assistants. So it's actually $5.99 per month. So they have specific assistants for different purposes, like this one. If you would like to slay your study time, you can sign up to chat with Isobel. If you would like to have your keep your health resolution, keep healthy resolutions, you can chat with Grace and so on. Ito pa. And so they have tons of experiential AI that is available for chats. Pero ito kasi, this one is kailangan nyo ng payment. So I have an alternative that we can use, which is the character.ai. Character.ai. Ito yung website. Hindi ko sure kung nag-open classes. But yeah, again. So you can try to visit character.ai. And so you can just click that. And so kindly visit po si character.ai. Then pakita ko lang sa inyo yung kanyang pakita ko kung ano yung itsura niya once you open as a new user. Naka-login na kasi automatic yung sa akin. So, ito po, for the live demonstration ng Character AI. Once you visit character.ai, ito yung magiging UI na makikita ninyo. So, it will be asking you for your login. So, you can choose to continue with Google, continue with Apple, or if you prefer using your emails. So, sa akin po kasi, I just used continue with Google. So, I chose an account. If you click on sign in with Google, just choose the account that you would like to use. And then sign in to character.ai. So, continue lang siya. So, continue lang yan. And then, this will be the first thing that you will see dun sa website niya. So, just put in your birthdays, the age, it can check yung age ninyo kung allowed kayong gumamit ng character.ai. And then it can also ask you what are your interests. So you can pick 3 or more. So if you prefer adventure, anime, fantasy, history, paranormal, sci-fi, romance, religion, and so on, history. And then it can also ask for your lifestyle. So are you looking for more friendship, or are you using character AI for emotional wellness or for personal growth? So let's assume that these are the options that you have chosen. So we have chosen adventure, anime, fantasy, paranormal, sci-fi. And then we have selected 2 for the lifestyle, both friendship and emotional wellness. So pagka ito yung pinili natin, it will now redirect you to your dashboard. So you can actually discover, you can go on an adventure, you can try to plan your trips. Pwede rin language liaison. If you would like to learn a new language. And then there are also since we selected anime, ayun, sinelect natin yung anime. So you have the option to talk with some of the anime characters that you love. Ayan, meron siya dito. Like, ito yung sample na ginawa ko kanina for the demonstration. So, if you open one of these ones, let's say clinic natin si Kugisaki Nobara, it will now display, but it will start typing, and then makikita ninyo yung message niya. So you can also have the option to talk with them using voice. So you can hear your chats out loud. Or if you prefer text, pwedeng yung text lang. So it will actually respond to your inputs. So let's say sinabi mong hi, it will reply like an actual person. Ayan. And then there are some paano ba ito? Parang descriptions, the interaction that you have with it. Mga ganyan. So you are asking it will reply. Yan. Diba? So you can actually try this one. So I'll stop sharing the slides. And then I'll proceed to the dashboard. Yan. So yun. You can actually look for the songs, ayan. Or the role plays, you can copy drama. Or if you prefer something else, you can practice a new language. You can practice interviewing, play a game, help me make a decision, ayan. Get book recommendations. So let's try this one. Ayan. So since librarian, she's no yelling in the library kasi librarian siya. So let's say I recently read Papa. What other romantasy books can you refer or recommend, let's say? And then it will start typing as well. And then lalabas yung kanyang response. Ayan. How about thriller or psychological thriller? So ito medyo general pa lang yung questions natin, no? So it responds, I read a lot of thrillers as well. The last really great one I read was The Last Flight by Julie Clark. And then ito, let's say Verity by Colin Hoover. Is Verity by Colin Hoover any good? And then you can probably ask something else. Other books and that is related to Qatar. Yeah. So we can also choose other characters. You can go back to discover. So aside from that, you can plan a trip, write a story. If you prefer voices, yun, meron din dito. Assistance, anime, creativity. Let's say history. Okay. Kausapin natin si Napoleon Bonaparte. See, it has humor. Bonjour, what happened to you, Napoleon? Sorry, can you mean my book? And you can say yes. That. So it's like you're talking to a real person. But at the same time, you can also learn while you're interacting with the characters here in character.ai. So again, it would say, I was exiled on the island of Elba. I escaped and returned to France, and I started an army when I tried to take back the country. And I failed, so I surrendered to the English and they sent me on the island in Helen, where I died in 12 December 1821. I actually learned something new. Tingnan natin kung ano ma-respond niya. Ayan. So that's basically what experiential AI is. So it tries the AI talks to you like an actual person. So it also picks up on the things that you have previously said and then uses that to respond to you afterwards. So usually ginagamit din nila to for a more immersive experience, if you will. Okay. So if you would like to explore and visit this website, and nalagay ko naman na dun sa ating chat box. You can actually create your own character. And so ito, kayo nang bahala siguro mag-explore. And this is just an additional from the just an additional from our main topic, which is your explainable AI. So ayun lang. And thank you very much po for listening. I hope you learned something. And if you would like, you can try to visit this website later. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much for that, ma'am. Ma'am Reds, for that comprehensive discussion on our topic for today. Actually, sinesearch ko po yung, trinay kong i-access yung mga links kanina while you were talking. So,
Yeah,
now
po.
from our crowd, do you have any questions po kay Ma'am Reds? Meron po ba tayong questions to our speaker for today? Okay. Oh, by the way, ma'am, is it okay if you leave your contact details just in case na may mga questions sila later after ng webinar, like ma-realize sila, ay, may tanong pala, ganun.
Yeah,
Just in
yes
case
po.
lang po. Okay, thank you, ma'am. So, habang yung iba po, habang tinatype pa ni ma'am yung kanyang email, pwede na po kayong maghabol ng inyong mga questions. You can message me directly and ako po ang magbabasa, or you can already type it in our chat box. Okay. Meron pa po ba? Aside from the questions that were read a while ago po, meron pa po ba? We have here a question, ma'am. Is it possible po ba na pwedeng gumawa ng personal AI na offline use?
Line news. Pwede siguro kapag naka-download yung ano niya, pero parang masyadong malaki kasi yun pag ganun. Yung kailangan niya na resources, probably. Karamihan kasi ng AI na alam kong nagagamit is more on online. If possible, if I think you can probably gawa ng offline. It's possible though. If gagawa kayo ng local na model, local AI model dun sa personal devices ninyo. Pero syempre, you will need to have a powerful Shuri or powerful storage, a powerful hardware that can take in yung gagawin ninyo. And then, of course, storage space. So, it can probably be several gigs na storage. Tapos, depende kung meron kayong magagamit na devices for this one. If you prefer to have your personal offline AI, pwede naman yun. Or you can use open source project siguro that are customizable to run offline. Yung mga ganun. Possible naman. It's either you need a bigger storage space or gamit kayo ng mga mga open source na projects para you will not be starting from scratch.
Okay, there we go. Meron pa po, ma'am, another question. So I hope po nasagot po yung question niyo, Ma'am Precious. And then we have another po. Ano po advice niyo po sa amin na first generation na gumagamit ng AI for soft dev?
Okay, first of the So for first gen individuals that would like to venture into AI, no, pag pang soft dev, it can be challenging pero exciting pa rin, of course. It's both exciting and challenging. So you can start to build a strong foundation. So pag-aralan niyo muna kung ano mga basics. Focus kayo sa mga programming languages like Python. Yun, ginagamit ngayon kasi Python for machine learning, even for data mining, and also JavaScript. So Python kasi is very popular in artificial intelligence kasi very simple at ang daming libraries ng Python. Daming libraries. Kaya yun din yung ginagamit namin for data mining. And then, yun, for machine learning as well. So, next, dapat you should also understand algorithms and data structures kasi yun yung pinaka-foundation natin. Very important for coding. And then, um, yung ano natin, statistics and probability. So, actually, ngayon naman, they are interconnected. Pag pinag-aaralan mo siya, data analytics, yung ating predictive AI din. So, they are interconnected. So, yun, siguro build your foundation. Learn Python, learn JavaScript, and then try to practice on your own in your free time. Siguro, on how to implement, how you can use that for your software development. And then, um, yun din, practice talaga. And embrace the AI tools that you can use. I think, I forgot kung ano yung, programming IDE ata yun, na meron na rin siyang, AI you can use. I think Visual Studio has, if I'm not mistaken. So you can try to also use ChatGPT to help you with adjusting or using AI for software. Yun lang naman po. And then resources are always available naman po online.
Okay. There we go. So we're going to have the last question na po for tonight. So for yung mga iba pa pong questions, you can already direct that to the contact of Ma'am Breast, Ma'am Breast for this one. So Ma'am Breast, for the last question po, meron bang AI or are there currently developed sites that may be inclined to the culture of Filipinos?
Good clarification. In the context of culture. Mm, inclined to the culture of Filipinos. I am not sure if there are. Meron ba? Mm, I'm not sure if there is for language introductions. Wala specifically website, I think. For cultural preservation ba siya or that is just related to culture? Ano? So far, parang wala akong alam na that is specifically catering to the culture of the Filipinos na AI. Siguro kayo ang gagawa. Malay niyo kayo yung gagawa doon. So make this as an inspiration to develop something that would cater to the culture of Filipino. Yun lang po.
Ayun, there we go. So thank you, ma'am, for that. I can see two more questions. However, we are already near 8 p.m. po. Kaya ang
Mm.
gaganda po ng tanong ninyo. So mas maganda po talaga ma-address siya. So pwede niyo na pong i-contact doon si Ma'am Brets. Ma'am, okay lang po na i-bump niyo po ulit yung socials po ninyo sa ating chat box. Okay, there we go. So
Sige
maraming
po.
maraming salamat po, Ma'am Brets. And of course, to show our appreciation, I have here your certificate of appreciation. Okay, so allow me to read it, ma'am. Okay, so certificate of appreciation is given to Ma'am Bretz Harleen M. Molshaw for your invaluable contribution as the resource speaker for Adal Cordillera, episode 44, Introduction to Explainable Artificial Intelligence, Interpretability, and Transparency, organized by Cordillera Young Leaders Club on February 5, 2025. Your service helped in forwarding the goal of the organization by discussing timely and relevant topics through online information sharing. Given this 5th day of February 2025 at Baguio City, this is to be signed by our beloved President, Miss Jessica L. Pilat. So maraming maraming salamat po, Ma'am Brets. Again, okay, so this is pang ilang beses na po ata kayo nag-speaker sa amin. So we are really grateful po kasi ang dami niyo pong nasi-share na knowledge to all our participants. There we go. So let's give a virtual applause to our speaker. Okay, so do we have
Thank you
any
po.
announcements po for tonight? Okay, so before we go to our announcements, we have here the evaluation form. Okay, so now this is mandatory po because this is going to serve as your attendance for tonight's webinar. So kindly take a snip of this one. I'm also going to send evaluation link on the chat box. There we go. So kindly take a sip. No worries po because this is open for 24 hours. Ay, ayun yung mag-copy. One moment. There. Okay, so I also sent the link din po sa chat box natin. Okay, so nag-send din po pala ibang organizing committees for that. Okay, there we go. So now we have here the next part. We have our next part would be announcements. We have the Panagyaman special offer for free registrations for episode 26 to 50. Okay, so pwede pa pong humabol ang mga naka-10 na po, naka-10 episodes sa Adal Cordillera because there's still 6 episodes until 250. Kaya avail na po kayo, sayang din 'yon. Okay, so then we have our next episode that would be about forensic accounting, introduction to forensic accounting and forensic accounting techniques. That would be on February 9 from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. po. Now, if you are really interested about forensic accounting or you just want to learn the basics of it, okay, ini-encourage ko po kayo mag-register na for our February 9 before magsara ang slots kasi ubusan po tayo ng slots when it comes to Adal Cordillera. Kaya habol na po tayo. Okay, so do we have other announcements? Well, of course, we have here the next one. We have the Luyon Talks. Okay, so this is a series of talk show regarding issues or concerns when it comes to relationships. Syempre, pag-ibig month na. It's already Feb-ibig month. So, of course, makaka-relate tayong lahat dito. We are going to learn a lot of it, especially when it comes to handling relationships and, of course, handling bonds with different people. Ayan. And, of course, we have our Ladawan Tibiyag. This is a one-day free photography workshop sa mga mahilig naman dyan sa photography. Okay, or interested matuto, we have here now a workshop for you. Now, grab this one because this is free. Okay, so this is free. Marami kayong mapupulot dito. So, grab the chance while it is still there. Okay, there we go. So, we have your call for donation. Of course, since we are a community that drives, or we are an organization that drives for community service, we are calling for donation for one of the members of our community here in Baguio. So nasunugan po sila. And the husband is, yung husband po nung may-ari ng shop, he suffered third-degree burns. And ang laki po ng gastusin nila when it comes to medical bills ngayon. So for those who has extra po, na hindi alam kung saan gagamitin yung extra na yon, here is your calling. So call for donations po. And then we also have a raffle for a cause. So ticket prices are 100 pesos. You can message any of our committees here na meron po present, or you can already message directly sa page. Okay, so no worries because these causes are, the extra funds is going to come or we're going to gather in for raffle for a cause. Will go to different community services all across Cordillera. Okay, in different orphanages or community service. There we go. So, same po with the ADAL. Okay, yung mga registration fees nyo po na binigay nyo sa amin, it will go back to the community. So, yes, lagi po kayong natututo sa ADAL Cordillera, nakatulong pa kayo. Okay, so do we have, okay, now we have here, I have here actually a special request. So kindly open your cameras because we are going to take a picture. Okay, to commemorate, lalo na mga first timers natin dyan, to commemorate you joining your first episode of Adal Cordillera. And of course, for the repeat members or participants,